participation. I've been told that if the association has managed well, your meetings will start getting smaller. We started with 50, we had 42 yesterday or last month, and I think we're a little smaller this month. So maybe that's a good sign, but we really do want and appreciate your input, your ideas, your suggestions. I indicated before, we really do appreciate the homeowners that have stepped up and are volunteering to participate in our committees. We have 7 board committees that are working on various aspects of our community. That's extremely important. As usual, again, every homeowner will be given an opportunity to speak at the meeting, ask questions. We just ask you to do it in a respectful manner. We have a separate time set aside at the end of the meeting just for open discussion. But again, you're also welcome during the presentations. If there's something that you feel is important that you need to ask a question or comment on, please raise your hand and you're welcome to do so. I'd like to thank Carol Schapp, who's videotaping our meeting. So we'll all be famous. We'll all be on videotape. So all the Big Tree homeowners that weren't able to attend tonight can watch it on YouTube, which is really great. I'm really delighted to have Bob Woods with us. Bob Woods is the president and our community manager from the CAM team, our association management company. And Bob has his associate Eric with him, and so we welcome Eric as well. Bob is going to be speaking about how the CAM team can work with us to improve our communication between the board and CAM and all our homeowners, and assist us as we move forward to achieve the objectives we've outlined. So I welcome Bob and Eric, and thank you. We have to establish a quorum. We have 3 out of 3 board meetings, so that's 100%. So I think that's a quorum, and we welcome everyone. The next item on the agenda would be reading the unapproved board meetings from February 17th board meeting. So I'll turn that over to our secretary, Elizabeth Davis.
Thank you very much. All right, the unapproved minutes for February 17th, 2016 was held at the Williams YMCA on Wednesday. The meeting was also videotaped by Carol Schapp and made available for viewing by homeowners on YouTube. Board members present at the meeting were Larry, Lisa, and I was at work. The meeting was called to order at 7:15 p.m. by Board President Larry Kahn. A quorum was established with 2 or 3 board members and 34 homeowners in attendance at this meeting. Larry Kahn indicated that all Big Tree homeowners would be given the opportunity to ask questions and speak on every matter discussed at all of our board meetings, provided that they did so in a respectful manner with no yelling, swearing, bad language, or personal attacks. President's report, Board President Larry Kahn indicated in 2016, Big Tree Board of Directors' goal to major improvements in every area of our Big Tree community, and that this would include improve the conditions of our buildings, including eliminating leaks, wood rot, mold, and mildew, repair gutters, problems and fences, and cleaning, painting, and sealing the coquina on our buildings. Improve the overall condition, cleanliness, and look of our community, including our streets, signs, lights, pool, and pavilion, and our boat garden. Improve our landscaping, bushes, shrubs, and flowers in all areas of the community, working to make our community a very well-run organization, friendly, pleasant, and enjoyable place to live. Mr. Condon thanked homeowners for the support that they have given our new board and indicated that the new board consisted of just 3 unpaid volunteers who would be unable to accomplish our goals without the involvement and support of our Big Tree homeowners. Mr. Kahn indicated that he was very excited and thankful for the many Big Tree homeowners who have volunteered to work on the homeowner committees or to work on special work projects to improve our Big Tree community, and referred homeowners to the list of the homeowner volunteers that had been included in the meeting agenda information that was passed out. Mr. Kahn indicated that there was not enough money available in the budget for the new board to take care of our building maintenance and repair needs immediately, but that we would be moving quickly as possible to do the needed maintenance and repair work, and that we would be as fair as possible to all Big Tree homeowners. He then indicated the board member, Lisa Waters, is it Water or Waters? Waters, okay, would be presenting a detailed plan for getting our needed buildings, maintenance, and repair work done. Mr. Khan indicated that we were also working hard at reducing our outstanding delinquency and lien problems at Big Tree, and that based on the recommendation of Bob Woods and Ellen Stokes of the CAM team, we were planning on working with Sean Morrell of the Morrell Law Group versus the McCable Law Firm. Mr. Woods and Ms. Stokes indicated that they had worked hard with both law firms and found the Morrell Law Group to be much more reasonable in their charges and also to respond faster and get better results. Mr. Khan also indicated that the First Coast Management's pool service company had canceled Big Tree's pool service agreement and that we had gotten bids from other pool service companies. He also indicated that we planned on going with Blues Solutions Pool Service Company, who would be charging us $250 a month for all pool services and chemicals, which is less than what we paid in the past, unless the other bids were received. Mr. Khan indicated that Blue Solutions Pool Service was a well-established and experienced pool service company, and that he felt that we were qualified to provide the pool services we needed at Big Tree. The treasurer's report is then reviewed that January 2016 final report for Big Tree, which was included in the handout package to homeowners. Mr. Khan indicated that the Big Tree finances for both income and expenses looked very good for the month of January, but that we would be spending significantly more money for needed building maintenance and repairs in the coming months. Mr. Khan indicated that even though we will be spending more money, we will be operating in a financially responsible manner, and the homeowners budget and financial planning committee will be revising the current budget probably in March as they complete their work on a 5-year financial plan for Big Tree. The committee reports. Building Maintenance and Repair Committee, Lisa Waters reported that she had now evaluated the maintenance, repair, and roofing needs of all 40 of our Big Tree buildings and had broken down the building repairs needed by category. Lisa then taped diagrams of all Big Tree buildings on the wall and explained how we would be working to complete repairs on all buildings, starting with those in the worst category and those scheduled to have their roofs replaced in 2016. She also indicated that we will be staining the wood, clean and sealing the coquina, and install gutters on the 7 single-story buildings. The board's priority would take care of leaks and all emergency and safety problems immediately, and try to schedule other repair work on a worst-case first basis. Building having new roofs installed in 2016 would also have new gutters installed and would have wood rot repaired, all siding painted, and the coquina cleaned and sealed. Landscaping Committee. Larry indicated that while board member Elizabeth Davis could not attend today's meeting due to work conflict, she had been working hard at improving our landscaping at Big Tree, painting signs and cleaning up the pool and pavilion and guardhouse and storage room areas. Mr. Khan indicated that many homeowners had already commented on how good our landscaping and grounds are beginning to look at Big Tree as things get cleaned up and painted. Infrastructure and Security Committee. Barbara Evers reported that the Infrastructure and Security Committee met and was looking at steps that could be taken to improve the conditions of Big Tree's infrastructure as well as the safety and security of our community. The committee revived and discussed needed improvements in the lighting in our community, repairing or replacing some of our perimeter fencing that is badly deteriorated in a number of places, an irrigation system that is not currently working, and improving the condition of our pool and pavilion and boatyard. Barbara Evers reported that while we will be making improvements in a number of these areas this year, Big Tree can't currently afford to make some of the more expensive needed infrastructure improvements like our streets, sewers, lighting, and irrigation system this year, and that these issues will have to be dealt with in the next few years. Budget and Financial Planning Committee. Bill Jasper reported that the Budget and Financial Planning Committee was working to develop a 5-year plan for Big Tree. They would present to Big Tree homeowners in the next few months. Governing Documents Committee. Chester Skip Brown then reported that Big Tree's Governing Documents Committee had met and were working to correct Big Tree's governing documents that were badly out of date, contained a lot of errors and problems and needed to be updated and better serve our Big Tree community and comply with Florida laws. Social and Hospitality Committee. Pat Kahn reported that the board had formed a social and hospitality committee to organize some social events for homeowners and develop a welcome package and information for new Big Tree homeowners. She indicated that a bonfire event was planned for Saturday, which was last weekend, and bingo and hot dog, hamburger, and roast and other social events were being planned for the near future. Complaints and problem areas. Board President Larry Kahn then discussed some problem areas at Big Tree and need for enforcing Big Tree rules and regulations, and asked for some homeowners to please sign up and volunteer a rules and regulations enforcement committee. Mr. Kahn indicated that the homeowners on this committee must not be on Big Tree board or related to a current board member, and they would be responsible for conduction and hearing for any homeowner that filed an appeal for any warnings or fines imposed on them for a violation of Big Tree rules and regulations. Homeowner questions and discussion. After answering and discussing additional questions or issues raised by Big Tree homeowners, Mr. Kahn adjourned the February 17th board meeting at 8:30.
Thank you. Are there any comments, corrections, or additions needed for the meeting, for the minutes? If not, all those in favor of approving? Aye. Meeting minutes are approved. It's only been 3 weeks since our last meeting. I hope I don't have to go, or I won't go through all the details. Our goals haven't changed. We're working hard and I think making good progress in a number of areas. We got some important things changed. Again, I would like to say how pleased I am with the participation of homeowners on our committees. I think we're starting to make great progress there, and even though you only have 3 board members, I think we're very blessed, delighted to have 2 great board members. Lisa Waters is doing an outstanding job on organizing our building maintenance and repair. I think if you walk around and look at the buildings that we've been working on, you see the wood rot disappearing, the mold and mildew being cleaned, the buildings being stained, sealed, painted, and it's just a dramatic improvement. And so I compliment Lisa for the great job she's doing. Liz? Lisa will speak more in just a couple of minutes about some of the things she's done over the last several weeks and the agenda for the next several weeks or months in terms of our plans for moving forward. So I just want to talk. Liz has also done an absolutely outstanding job. She's worked very hard. She's been working very, very closely with High Profile as they work on the landscaping throughout our community, even working with some of the homeowners that are planting bushes and flowers and trees. She's been painting our signs up and whatever. We're working on some upcoming infrastructure improvements, relatively low-cost items, because most of the money is going into our buildings now, and Liz will talk about that in a few minutes. So let me just give you a summary. Again, we're focusing on really improving our building. And I think that although we're not going to be able to complete everything immediately, as Lisa indicated before, she had the list of all our worst buildings. We're confident those will all be repaired 100% this year, and we're going to make some major improvements in some of those in the middle category. Next year's board, in my opinion, should be able to complete and bring all our buildings up to 100% really good standard at that point in time, and be implementing an ongoing maintenance and repair program so that the condition of the buildings is maintained. While we're not spending a huge amount of money on infrastructure area, we are doing a lot of things to, I think, make our community nicer to look at, cleaner, more attractive, safer, and Liz will talk about a few of those things in a few minutes. And so we do look for improving. Down the road, 2 years from now, the board at that time, because we'll be completing all of our roofing needs at that point in time, we should have more money again to start working on irrigation systems, streets and sewers, and some of the infrastructure. We'd like to get some of the fencing done, but again, Mark Harper has gotten some costs, but again, right now our focus is trying to get our buildings up to speed, and we will work our way into those items. So again, we're working to make it a great community, a great place to live, a friendly community with things to do, and I'm convinced that by doing that, we're going to accomplish a number of things. As homeowners, we all have a financial investment in our homes. And so, we want to make sure that's secured. I frankly see that we can think that we can make some substantial increases in our property values. And I'll talk about some of the ways that we can move forward. Again, just by obviously fixing them up, making it a more attractive community, and there's a few more other things I'll talk about in a minute that I think can help it. I have a background as a real estate broker owner for some real estate officers, so I have a pretty good feel as to how the market prices are influenced by properties, how realtors work, and how we can effectively reach out and make our community, again, more attractive in the marketplace, and which is good for all of us. Makes our homes easier to sell, increases our market values, etc. So again, we don't have the money to do everything we like to do immediately, but I think we're going to see some significant major improvements month to month as we move forward. What else? Okay. Any questions on that so far? And I'll go into some new topics. There's been some talk in the past about having an official Big Tree website. I frankly have been researching websites and look at it for some time. Haven't been satisfied that some of them I liked were pretty expensive, and I asked Bob Woods to make some suggestions and take a look at it. And the last time I met with Bob at the camp team offices a couple weeks ago, he recommended a couple websites, and I frankly, there's a website, there's some couple pages in the back of your handout that I think is just an awesome website. It's very, very reasonable. As a matter of fact, I'm convinced it's going to save Big Tree money by implementing it. It cost us $160 just to send out a 2-page letter to all of our homeowners, and we're working on a newsletter, and by the time we print and distribute a newsletter, there's a lot of money involved. The website is basically a $50 initiation fee, and then $35 to $50 a month. More exciting than that is it's a top quality site. It's a site that's, the CAM team manages Waterford Estates in Mandarin, which is a very, very nice community. Orange Park Country Club uses the site. Eagle Harbor, Valencia Country Club, Fleming Island Plantation, St. John's Forest, Southampton, Mirabella. They're all pretty high-level communities that could well afford a website that costs several $100s a month. So I think it's an awesome site. I think it'd be a major convenience to homeowners, being able to pay your dues online, submit work orders, receive email blasts and communications, be informed of what's going on. It would enable the CAM team to help better manage our company, improve communications. And a big thing, I talk about improving the values. Believe me, the image of our community is so very important. We have a website out there that's really a high-class website like some of the top country clubs have. It's going to be really, really attractive for realtors and buyers to and really improve the image of our community, which again goes a long way to helping us. Take a look at the information in the back. Bob can answer any questions. Again, he's familiar with the site because they've worked with it in helping the Waterford Estates. But again, I think it's a no-brainer, frankly, a website that's going to cost us very little, going to save us more money, and an all-around win for Big Tree. So I'd like to open it up to questions, comments, suggestions, and if everybody feels the way I do, I'd like to vote on approval and getting it implemented right away. So Bob or myself or be happy to welcome your questions.
Yeah, Larry, the only thing I'd say is the good thing about this website hosting thing is that they will do all the administrative work.
Right.
So it really lessens the responsibility of anybody in the community. All you have to do is feed them articles, feed them pictures, feed them whatever you want to have displayed on the website. And they do all the updating and it's really a nice thing. I mean, there are 3 different websites in the community. All of us know that there's a lot of work involved in updating that, and we're all administrators ourselves. The main advantage of this one, in addition to just hosting it and getting us a web domain and all that kind of stuff, is that they do all the administrative work for us, and it really makes it very simple.
It's got every tool that we really need to effectively communicate, including taking surveys, getting your feedback, email blasts. It's really a cool site. So, and again, it's going to save us money in the long run. Louis?
The assumption is that it's really a dedicated website to Big Tree, which it just has the same look and feel as the ones that you're giving us.
Yeah, these are just samples, right?
And it'll be a communication device for the homeowner to process their work order requests or to look up the any documentation that is put out there as part of the board, minutes and things of that nature. Is that correct?
We have an expandable website. I think what you're probably going to start with is the traditional website, but we can do things like have each homeowner be able to do their own account. We can set up that the board can see financials real time. They can do ARCs real time. They can do violations real time.
So you have a layered level
Yes,
of
we have a
security depending on who's accessing board members.
Yeah, it just depends on what you want. Yes.
So the information is parceled out to people that need to know.
Exactly.
And bottom line, I feel it's a win-win for Big Tree. It's very little cost, it's going to save us money, and the benefits are just really, really great. So, Peggy?
What is the cost?
Pardon?
What the cost?
It's $50 initial cost for the setup, $35 to $50 a month, depending the options that we choose.
Each month?
Per month, yeah. And again, I think with the $50, it offers us a huge array of options. And again, considering we're spending $160 just to send out a single letter, to me, it just doesn't make sense not to do it, so.
Does that include the administrative expense to the?
Pardon?
Does that include the?
Yes.
Yes, it
That's
does.
the price, yeah.
So all those in favor?
I have a
Aye.
question.
Oh, wait.
Sure.
That's some more
On the
questions.
email blast, so if you have an issue or whatever and you want to send out an email to all the residents, who does that? Who's in charge of that? Who makes that happen?
Well, the board would work with the CAM team. The CAM team would implement the communications.
Administrators would do the
For
blast.
example, none of us trying to get an email blast out these days is very, very difficult. I've had my website shut down because I'm also a coordinator for a senior tennis league, men's tennis league, and believe me, they shut them down. The CAM team will not even send out blast emails from there. So if we're going to do it effectively, we really have to have a website with that capability.
I need to make one correction. The setup fee is $500 and then it's $50 a month. We have a webmaster.
Okay, $50 a month for the maintenance and,
That's correct, it's $50 a month.
okay, there you go, $500 for $50, that's not what we
That's
do.
not what I've read. I've read it's $50 setup, although there's an asterisk and say it's, you know,
Yeah.
it depends on what,
The prices
how
are right
expensive
here.
the setup
Yes,
is.
there's another site that you can choose. that
By
is
saying
that
there's
site.
another option.
That is the other option.
Okay.
If we're going to do it and do like Waterford, there's a $500 setup fee. We pay a webmaster to do this. I don't know how to do this, but we pay somebody to do it. And it's done right, it's beautiful, and it's something we'll be proud of.
Well, how do we know if it's 50 or 500?
It's $500 and $50 a month.
$500 setup.
For the CAM team,
Well, there are two different websites. The one here is $50.
and that $50 used to be free, but they changed it.
Yeah, I mean, the one that Larry and I looked at, and others have looked at, the setup is 50, but it's kind of asterisk, so it depends on how much work is involved.
Yes.
Right.
But there's no suggestion that it would be as high as $500.
But, it's cheaper.
Even if it is $500, it's still gonna pay itself back.
It will over time. Will save in mailing costs.
Just the mailing cost alone is gonna save us, just that alone.
In any event, we got other things to cover, so all in favor?
How portable is an open site? How portable is that site?
Portable, what do you
Yeah,
mean?
2-3 years from now, canteen is not
Yeah, we're-
representative anymore. How do we report that back?
Well, we just have to get our name off of it. We can leave it with you, so I'll tell you now, if we leave, we'll find a way to shuffle it to you. How's that?
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that, but I'm sure webmaster
In
can.
contract with the website.
How much of the 500 goes back to the CAM team? I mean, is this the CAM team making money off this, or is this
No.
the actual website?
Oh, the $50 a month is Canton.
We're talking about two different websites. The other one is through the
That will
neighborhood.
answer that. Yeah. She said, how much of the 500 goes to CAM or goes to the website?
Actually, I don't know because I don't do the bills in the office. I don't know. And I'm not trying to be evasive, I don't know that answer.
Well, let me say,
Now, let me
from my experience,
Okay, go ahead, Skip.
from my experience, $300 to get the website, okay? That was for the year. They had to pay up front. Now, would that be the setup, the $300 for the
Yes,
year?
it's $500 setup.
Well, would that include the buying the yearly subscription to the?
Oh, you talked about the web address and all that stuff?
Right.
Yes, that includes all of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that would be the a year's use of that website,
And
right?
as I said, if the CAM team's not here in a couple of years, we'll find a way to
Yeah.
get it to you.
Skip.
And then I think the $50 after that for you would be purely your money.
No, it's actually, every time you send me something, I send it to the web guy puts it on, so it's.
Oh, but,
touched.
okay, but it would be your action with the web guy. It wouldn't be the
That's right.
rental of the website.
That's right.
anymore.
You send it.
It would be simply the maintenance and the web guy
Yes.
administratively.
Exactly.
So that would be pure administrative expense for us.
Yes,
Okay, and not the $50 a month would be pure, and the setup fee would be a year subscription to that website.
Why don't we just find out more facts and present it next
Yeah,
month?
that's a good idea.
And be clear on everything.
Yeah, I'd like approval to go forward. There are two different websites, actually. One is $50 a month, and it's by a different administrator. The other one is with the CAM team site, and we can get a group and look at the choices and then make a decision.
Yeah, we're kind of,
Question for Bob.
But the $500 is the additional cost for the website, regardless how long we use it.
Pardon? Yes,
The $500
one time.
That's
Yeah.
it.
for the website.
It's a one-time fee.
One-time fee for however long we have it.
Right.
as long as it goes.
Peggy had a question for Bob.
Yes, Dave.
Mr. Bob, could you please get all of the particulars? If you do this, it'll be this. If you choose this, it'll cost this. If you don't do this,
put it down in writing so that we can digest it. Because some people,
I can do that.
I need to see things on paper rather than just hear everybody
Peggy?
talking.
Peggy, if you take a look at this, I think you would be satisfied.
Is it in here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right there, it's pricing.
Label pricing,
It's pricing.
flip to the pricing page.
See, I think we're talking about apples and oranges a little bit.
I don't have it.
You don't have it.
There should be one. Maybe we
I have
didn't.
a question.
Probably didn't include it. There's the pricing page, just
Let's, for
circulate.
example, say, we have particular issues going on, and we need to get an email blast out to all the residents concerning whatever the issue is. Does that mean I can call you on the phone and say, we have this issue, can you send out the email to every resident, and that's as simple as that?
No, ma'am.
No.
I can't, my system, my operating system will not do that. That is why if you have the website, you put it on the website and everybody gets it.
That's what I'm asking.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lisa, I think we have to separate what can be
But
done.
no, I'm not
What we
saying,
need to
well,
do
you
the
should just
website
put it on the
itself.
website, and then the resident has to log onto the website to see that.
No, the
That
blast-
doesn't work,
Yes.
because we can't make people log onto the website.
No, it's an email blast, it goes to your email.
It's an email blast.
Straight to
So
the
we
email.
have everybody's email addresses in the community. We deal directly with the web. There are two ways of doing it. We can work through CAM, or we can work directly with the website administrator. What we're proposing to do is really work directly with the website administrator because it's cheaper and it's a more direct relationship. So if we need to get something out, we need to get it out quickly, we just deal with the website administrator. We give them the communication that we want them to send out. We tell them to send it out to all the Big Tree residents, renters, whatever it is, and they execute it. Now, how quickly that happens, I couldn't tell you. It takes 4 to 6 weeks to set it up with this particular website administrator that we're talking about, so we have to kind of dig into the details and find out how we work with it on a day-to-day basis. But there's a lot of flexibility with this site that Larry has found.
Again, some of the top communities in the area are using that exact site, and they're,
Okay.
so, it's a great site with a lot of options.
I think that I would like my board to make that decision for us.
Pardon?
I feel like I would like my board to make that decision. I don't need to know every little detail.
Well,
I trust
all in
that-
favor, let's, aye. Passed, okay? We'll work out the details, and the next board meeting will announce where we're at on it, but it's gonna be a win-win situation. We want the most effective website we can get at the most reasonable cost, pure and simple. We get no money from it, we only want what's best for Big Tree, period.
So I would be elected board.
Okay. One other issue that I'd like to talk about before we move on with our committee reports is the issue of what I call sustainability. My wife Pat and I are hoping to stay in Big Tree for a long time. And part of what I would like to work at accomplishing with the committees that are participating is setting up a system that's going to be sustainable in the future. It's one thing for a committee, we can work really hard and we may not be here next year and see everything start to fall apart down the future. And there's a number of things that we can proactively do to establish a system that will better ensure that our community is run effectively and properly in the future. One is, we've talked about the governing documents, and Chester spoke about that, and Ian Lewis and myself, and Katie are working on a committee, and that is so important. It is the basic structure that directs the management of our community. And it was written 35 years ago by the developer of Big Tree while he was developing Big Tree and seeking to sell units. He was looking to protect his own, so he would have the power to do anything he wants to do. And the governing documents were not designed for our community the the way we are operating today. And it's extremely important that we get the covenants and restrictions and the bylaws of our community correct. And it's something that's not going to be done in secret. As we work on them, we will be explaining to the homeowners exactly what we're doing, but we basically need governing documents that give us some clear direction so there's no confusion about decisions that will be made in the future. And they also hold the board accountable. Right now, with our current bylaws, the president of the association can pretty much do whatever he wants, and unless you want to sue him, you're kind of stuck with it. And frankly, I think that's wrong. I mean, we should set some standards up in the bylaws as to exactly how we expect Big Tree to operate in the future. So again, we'll be communicating with more on that issue. The governing documents need to be approved by 66 2/3% of the homeowner in the community to be changed. A lot of communities find that difficult to do because of communication gaps and problems, but I think it's extremely important that we start getting the message out as we move forward that this is really something that's really, really important for our community down the road. We don't want to see the community going up and down like this. We want to have a system that operates effectively and properly. Another thing that I think is absolutely critical to do it is to have a management company, a professional management company, to provide direction and assistance. I think it's, for all practical purposes, unsustainable to expect 3 or 5 or 7 volunteer board members to run everything and to do it effectively and consistently. It just frankly does not work. And so I think in the long run, we will find that once we have a system established and we have a sound relationship with the management company and a set way of operating, we're going to find that it saves us money in the long run by doing things properly. I'm not suggesting we make dramatic changes tomorrow, but I am suggesting that these are things that we need to work on throughout this year. I may not be on the board next year, Lisa and Liz may not. I don't know what the future will hold, but I do want to see things carried on so they continue to progress, as I said, so the rest of the buildings are done properly, so things are managed fairly and properly in the future. Chester?
One of the things that we would know, when we go to a management company, to have the management company contract with us, one of the big things is that they will enforce the declarations. And that's the main thing that they'll look at.
Sure.
So it's very important that we get those declarations right, or we're giving bad cues to the management team, management people. Is that correct? Yeah. So,
Okay, with that being said, put on my other hat, we'll do a real quick treasurer's report. You have a copy of the financial statement for Big Tree in your handouts for the period ending February 29th, the last day of February. We currently have $136,556 on hand and current assets of $146,100, which is a little bit less than last month. Last month, as you might remember, we had a 4,000 plus better than budget, and I indicated last month that we were keeping the old budget in effect, but in order to accomplish our goals, we needed to spend more money particularly on building maintenance and repair. So we are in the process of revising our budget, but obviously this month we spent a little bit more than our budget. We're like $14,000 over in total. But I think if you look at what was accomplished, I think you'll find the payoff very, very significant. Again, I feel confident that our financial planning and budget committee will be able to finalize, adjust our budget for this coming year so that we got a sound track to run on a month-to-month basis, and we don't spend more than is fiscally responsible or financially responsible this year, but at the same time are still able to accomplish as much as we possibly can in moving forward with our goals and objectives. So if we look at the specific income and expense area, we were virtually right on budget on income and bad debt. So again, we're still working. There has been some improvements in the bad debt situation, and we will continue to move forward on that. We did spend, $5,249 more in the building maintenance, and even more than that in the roofing schedule. As we indicated, the prior 2 months, we have 5 roofs to do, and with the projected roofing costs, we know that for the year, we're going to be about $30,000 over the existing budget in roofing. But it's something that has to be done. We have to repair those roofs, and we have to continue to spend money. We're not going to go broke. Everything will be done in a financially responsible manner, but again, actually the costs are a little bit less. I thought that we'd actually be a little bit more behind budget this year, but again, I think the plan is pretty much on track for where I expected or hope it would be. Lisa's making great progress repairing and improving our buildings, and we're making some significant changes in the other areas of our community. So if there are any questions on the financial statement or suggestions or comments you want to make?
At the end of each month, I'd like to know accounts payable. Is it zero at the end of each month? There's probably some balance in there.
Well, there is a balance. Right now,
Accounts payable is 1908 right on here on the front page.
It's pretty,
That's in the, balance.
Yeah, it's right on the first page.
it's not a big number, Chuck.
Okay, good.
So we're pretty current. I mean, we have been paying our bills,
Good.
and we are trying to keep current and up to date on everything. So I think our plan, I mean, we're moving forward according to plan, and I'm pleased with it. I do want to see us update the budget, because we knew from the beginning that we couldn't exist with the 215 budget that had to be updated for our current situation, and we also needed to look at planning for the future, so that in the future we have a sound financial track to run on and plans. With that, we can start talking about the important issues of building maintenance and repair and our committee reports. And again, Lisa's done a great job, and I'll turn it over to Lisa, and she can talk a little bit more about what we've accomplished and the areas we're moving forward in. So Lisa?
Okay. Well, if people walk around, you can see that I've been doing a lot of work on Building 32. Yay! Okay, somebody lives in Building 32? Yes. In my folder, I have various past work orders that patch this and patch that, and several thousands of dollars of patching this and patching that, which is what I'm trying desperately to get away from. Because all of that money that was spent on this building was all for naught. It didn't do any good. The building now has a new roof. I have the siding people that I'm very thankful I found. It's a company called Centerbeam. They're out of Jacksonville. Very talented carpenters. It's a woman-owned business. She's a real stickler for every single detail, and I enjoy working with her very much. She really knows her business, and it's very nice to work with somebody like her. They're replacing the siding right now on the unit that is for sale. Just about every week I get thrown a curveball because somebody's unit's for sale, it won't pass the WDO, and I'm being called to go address that situation. So, I get numerous calls every week. I've probably had 30 calls from one particular realtor. I know they're all anxious for their commission fees, but I am not a secretary. I can't take phone calls from realtors and lawyers and all of these people. It's too much. I'm out in the field and I'm working with contractors, getting contractors, seeing that the work's done properly, inspecting the work. I can't do secretarial work all at the same time. It's just too much. So if you have a realtor, please ask them not to call me.
I want to ask you a question. If somebody is selling their unit, why should you have to stop what you're doing and fix their unit?
Well, it's not exactly that I'm stopping.
I understand, but
Yeah.
why should they get priority?
Okay,
This has been going on for years.
I understand that. And
It's for the good of the community. If I just I've been in the real estate business. Bottom line, it's gonna hurt the whole community if all our sales start falling through. A buyer cannot get a mortgage without that home passing inspection. And if there is active wood rot on that home, a mortgage company will not lend money for that home. That hurts all of us. So it makes sense to get our buildings in shape where that's not a problem. Right now, unfortunately, we've had a lot of wood rot, so virtually every home, every unit that's sold, police is faced with a problem. The realtor can't get the home closed, the seller can't sell it. We've had sellers that had to sell because they couldn't afford to live here, and they stopped paying dues. It hurts the community all over, so we really need to fix those problems and get the homes sold.
I'm not as benevolent as you. I hear what you're saying, and you're probably right in what you said. You're probably right.
Well, and if I may say, it's not just that. Then they get their lawyer involved. I actually had a couple of phone calls from his lawyer, and I had to take the call in the car. When I transferred it through my system, I didn't hear exactly who he was, but when I started talking to him, I bit his head off. And I pretty much, without knowing him, he was a lawyer, I really just gave it to him and I told him, don't ever call me again. It's too much.
Well, I have a
But, so if we don't address the problem, then we're gonna be faced with some sort of legal problem on top of it, and we don't want
Why
to.
is there a legal problem? I have a unit that hasn't been touched for years. If somebody wants to sell their unit, you put me on the back burner and you fix their unit. It's just, in a way, it's just not right, even though I understand what Larry says, he's probably right. I think the homeowner should participate in the expense. If they go out of sequence and they want to sell their unit, they have to keep it. That's the way I see
And
it.
not unless we change our documents.
Let me-
That's not it.
Well, I have a question. Why are they calling you? We have
Well-
a management company. I do not mean to be so rude, and it's not my place to be rude, but we have a management company. Why aren't the lawyers, all of these people calling management, and they get a work order, and then it comes on, and then you say, oh, this is blah, 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 and then do it. I don't get this, so please explain.
Right, well, I'm sorry, which Eric. Eric is gonna be taking those calls now, right? And Eric can talk to the realtors and lawyers and let me do my job.
Well, obviously, we want to move in that direction because it is really impractical and impossible for the board to take every question and every call. Plus, you don't have a history, you don't have documentation. So if there's an issue or a work order, it needs to be submitted to CAM, and they will contact us, and we'll then follow up in an organized way.
So,
What would the bank
back
accept?
to you to address what you said. In my methodology in trying to get the repairs done, building 32, once this building's finished, I think building number 7 is pretty complete. My objective here is to repair these buildings in such a way that we won't ever be in this position again. having to jump over here and fix that emergency. We gotta go fix that because they're selling the unit. Hopefully, when this is done, we won't have to be dealing with this kind of chaotic type of trying to get things fixed. It's crazy. So anyway, hopefully you've been around and noticed the work being done on building 32. We've got a new roof up there. They're doing the siding. After they finish repairing all the siding, then the painters are going to come over and they're going to paint the entire thing. Building 32 will be pristine when we're done. If you also may have noticed the chimneys on top of the building. I just want to tell you, this is an experiment. In assessing all of the buildings and the ones who have chimneys and fireplaces, it's just the way the water comes off the building. The bottoms of these chimneys are rotting on each and every building. It's the same scenario. So my idea was to side the chimneys with a Hardy-Backer, what they call a Hardy-Backer cement board. It's made out of cement. Not only will that cement board be up there for the next 50 years and not rot, it will be more fireproof, so that if somebody's spark arrestor is not working properly and sparks are flying out and flies on the chimney next to it that's only this far away, hopefully we're not gonna, it'll help in preserving and preventing a fire from happening. And my belief is, we will see when it's done in about 10 days, after it's all painted, hopefully no one will ever see the difference or notice the difference that it's not the natural cedar and that it's hardy board. It's pretty high up in the air. Unless you got binoculars, I really don't think you're going to notice that it's a different material. It will all be painted the same color and hopefully look very beautiful. I don't want to take away from the integrity of the buildings and the materials that they were built in from. That's part of what makes the buildings beautiful, and that's why we enjoy it. So enough about building 32. I need to talk about one more thing. Something that happened this week was very upsetting to me. It had to do with the sidewalk. On a particular building, but I'll just show you the photographs here of the sidewalk. A very, very bad sidewalk. Can you see the pictures well enough?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, very bad situation. This resident has been living with that situation for a long time. I've got the work order here. The very first one I believe she sent him was January of 2015. So it's already 14 months that she's been, well, since she put the work order in. She's been living with it longer than that. And as you know, we don't have the brightest lighting at night and so forth, but the sidewalk was extremely dangerous. We can't really afford to ignore these kinds of problems because they're dangerous. Someone could fall, then we've got a lawsuit, we've got an injured person, and that's never a good scenario. In order to repair this sidewalk, when I got the guy out here who, that's his expertise, he's a concrete guy, he does sidewalks. Told me that tree had to come out in order for him to repair the sidewalk. Just as sort of a test, you know, whenever I'm talking to a contractor, I say, well, you know, now is he just trying to spend more of my money? So I want to know. I took him to another place, another resident, and it was a very similar situation. The tree right there next to the sidewalk and the end of her sidewalk was all busted up. I said, well, what do you think about this? And we're gonna have to take this tree out? And he says, no, I don't think that tree will be okay, and we could simply do the sidewalk this way and leave the tree. So at that point, I kind of knew he wasn't just trying to create work for himself. Anyway, this gentleman is very, very experienced at what he does. So after all of this stuff kind of blew up on me, I started doing a little Googling and researching trees and sidewalks and so forth. When a person does sidewalks as their profession, there's often a tree involved. When you have a broken sidewalk or sidewalks that are heaving and lifting up, it's because there's a tree involved. So many times you can't address the sidewalk unless you address the tree. So because this is his business, he has his own tree company, if you will, that he can call on a moment's notice and say, I have this situation, can you come look at it? We may need to take the tree out. So we called his tree people out there when they came to repair the sidewalk. And there was not a question in my mind that the sidewalk had to be repaired. I mean, there's no two ways about it. So while he was there, he was looking at some other trees. I asked him, can you take a look at this tree? What do you think? Can you take a look at that? He says, okay. We were walking around the property. He looked up and spotted a dead pine tree where he saw the canopy was dead. Now, I don't know. I've probably walked by that tree. A lot of people have walked by that tree numerous times and didn't notice that it was infested with these boring beetles. Okay, apparently now I've researched boring beetles today. So I actually saw one. It was about this long. I picked up a cup and smashed it. But anyway, when he pointed out the dead pine tree to me, he said that is posing a very bad danger, not only to the buildings, but the residents that live in that cul-de-sac. When I realized it, the only vision that came to my mind was Bumpy Johnston and his wife trying to get out of their car carrying groceries into the house when a little windstorm whips up and smashes them and kills them. So of course, we've got the tree guys there. I didn't think to really call and ask anybody about this. In my judgment, the tree had come down. You don't, why leave a dead tree there? I made the decision on the fly, let's take the tree down. We've got tree people here, take the tree down. So apparently, I don't know, people were noticing the work that was going on and I guess having questions, but they were presuming and assuming. And then they called people, and then people are calling me angry and upset, and like, what in the world am I doing out there cutting trees down willy-nilly? So apparently, I guess it was mistaken because I had gotten the guy to walk down the property, put some big yellow ribbons around the trees, different trees, and I said, I need for you to give me a price quote. How much will it cost to take these trees down? So a couple of the trees I had talked about with Liz down at Building 15, one by Miss Linda's house, and a couple of other ones that are maybe a foot or two away from the buildings. So that's why you put the yellow ribbons up there, because he's the concrete guy, but he knows a lot about trees. So we put the ribbons up there so that he could get the tree guy to come down and give us a price. Well, all of this got misconstrued that I'm out here cutting trees willy-nilly. First of all, it doesn't matter, really.
But it does matter.
It
have-
this is the kind of thing that's been going on for a long time. For years.
But it shouldn't be going on with you.
And all I want to say is, this whole thing got me upset and me angry until the point where I'm about to push the I'm done button.
I don't blame
I
you.
mean, you know,
I think
so just what I want to say is,
Let her talk.
be quiet.
Yeah.
We need to break the angry chain
Yeah.
tonight. If people have questions or concerns, please, you're always welcome to just ask me.
Yeah.
You know, what do you got going on out here? Or do like Miss Beaver, just pull up a lawn chair and watch the show. Bring a martini, bring a glass of carrot juice, whatever it is. Bring a lawn chair, sit out there and watch the action, have fun. But we've got to stop the angry chain, because I don't do well with anger. It consumes me, I get upset, I can't think, I can't focus, it's
Right.
miserable. That has to end. But if I'm out there painting the buildings purple with orange trim, please call the people in white jackets, put one on me and send me away.
You know what, I think you did a very nice report of this, and I agree with your logic, and you know,
I frankly
respect
think
that.
there has been a much better cooperative attitude, and I think as Lisa said, I hope that continues,
Yeah,
so that people will ask questions and will talk about things rather than yelling at each other or getting
Right.
angry.
Yeah, right.
But be that as it may, we're running short of time. I skipped Bob and the CAM team, and we want to give Bob some time, and then Liz deserves a few minutes. She has some important things to say, so Bob?
Thank you, Larry. I'm Bob Woods. I'm one of the owners of the CAM team. The CAM team has 42 clients, which we're glad to be serving you. We have 13 employees, full-time employees. So it's really it's kind of a busy situation. But it has been very tenuous for us over the past months. And we're glad to be back working for you, that's what I'm gonna say. That's really what it comes down to. I'm very encouraged, Lisa, Liz, and Larry. I think I'm fortunate, you're fortunate to have them serving. And one of the things that we really need to do is make their job easier, because we don't want them. We don't want them to go.
No, we don't.
Amen.
She's too talented.
Yeah, and so whenever you're out there and you're talking to your neighbors, let them know that you got a board that's active, that's trying to do the right thing. They are doing the right thing. Your budget is awesome. I looked at your budget. Last month, we collected $9,360.57 of bad debt. So that's 20% of your total bad debt we collected that last month. I hope we can do it every month. I don't know that we can, but we sent out 14 collection letters. And what our collection letter starts out as a nice letter. We understand you got an issue here. Contact us, let us know what the remedy is. And if they don't answer, we send them another letter, just a little bit more matter of fact, and then we send them the atomic bomb letter, and then they don't either pay us or they still won't pay us. Then it goes to the attorney. And that's all you can do. We've given them many, many chances, and we want them to just call us and say, this is the plan, I have cancer, I can't pay you, whatever. Just communicate with us, and I can communicate with the board, and we can make good decisions together. So I'm encouraged. I can't tell you how much I'm encouraged with the new board, and thank each and every one of you for coming tonight. Lisa's working way too hard. I agree with Peggy. Never mind, Peggy.
No, I want to know what I said.
You said we should be taking the call.
That's right. That's
Exactly.
right. Let her be out there doing his thing, and
That's
people
right.
quit
We want to
micromanaging her.
make the board's life
I'm tired.
better.
I'm sick of it.
Okay, we need to get everybody thinking, and let's make their life better. And we want to serve them, and so it does get better. And Lisa, please confirm this. those calls to us, we will handle it, that's our job. So, we, again, encourage, Eric is going to be a new cam. Eric has over 4 years of experience, and he's very able and capable of doing a great job for you. And if you have questions, feel free to call the cam team and ask for Eric. Yes, Jeff.
The last time that I was, saw you and went and visited, I saw your work orders, and there seemed to be in place for, you can communicate back and forth on these things. It seemed like you were a little bit lacking in dates, like, okay, we sent this on to the board, and we were expecting a reply back at a certain time, and you may have not been nudging them to reply, or something wasn't happening where we get back to the.
Let me tell you how we did it in the past.
Yeah.
I'll just tell you how we did it in the past. Somebody would call us and say, the sidewalk's broken. We would do the work order, we would send it to the board. That's all I can say.
Yeah, we all know.
It didn't come back to us. That's all I can say. That's all we can do. So I think now it's definitely going to change Chester, and
Okay, so if I put in a work order and something isn't done by a certain date, you'll tell me that you put in a request?
Call me with an issue, I will generate a work order. Eric will generate a work order, we'll send it to the board, and then the board will instruct us.
Yeah.
That's the way it should work.
Well, as we said, as a board, we're gonna try to get back to everybody in a reasonable period of
Yeah.
time. As we said, we just don't have the money to do everybody's work order immediately.
Right. And
But
we
we will
could-
be prioritizing and
Right, and you
following
could
up.
roll those up in the projects, and you could say, you're gonna be part of this down the road, part of the master plan.
Well, there is a plan. The board has set out a plan that may
33,
When this spoke.
right over next door. I'm coming, get your lawn chair ready.
There is a plan for every building on the property. The board has really taken a lot of initiative
Right.
to generate a plan. And so we're going to work the plan, and within probably 2 years, so we're going to be out of the woods, and we're going to get high cotton again.
And a lot of times, maybe you'll say the work order's on the plan.
So,
It's in the plan. Like somebody says, I've got a complaint about a walk, you'll say, that's in the plan.
yes.
And it's gonna be done at a certain date down the road. Or it's gonna be done, right, the timeline?
We're trying to work the plan right now,
Yeah.
and we want to stay on track, because once we get through this next couple of years, we're going to be in good shape.
Yeah.
That's our goal, and thank you very much for hiring us back. Thank you.
Last but not least is Liz. She's been working really, really hard and getting a lot accomplished too. So Liz, tell us what you've been doing.
Okay, guys, I've been working with High Profile every week that they're here. I'm out there with them on the ground at least 3 to 4 hours every Tuesday afternoon when I'm not working at the hospital. I believe we've made a lot of good progress in the last 2 months. We have improved a lot of the areas so far. I have 14 buildings completely cleaned around to date. I mean cleaned, out in the buildings, old dead bushes taken out, trimmed bushes back, pulling the debris out of the bushes, raking the debris, getting the debris away from the building, so when Lisa goes around, and she does her thing, it's a lot simpler for her guys to work and get the mold and mildew off the buildings and clean it and paint it properly and keep it that way. I've also painted I don't know if you've noticed, the sign up front, Town Homes Big Tree. I have painted that sign top and bottom. I did the concrete down there with a latex porch paint. I bought it myself because I had some stuff to do at my place, so I just bought it and I used it down there and used it at my place. We did not pay for that. I paid for that. But I got out there and when it was funny, is one of the homeowners seen me out there painting, and I had a hat on, it was freezing cold that day, and I was sitting on the ground painting, and she said she thought some teenager in the neighborhood was out there painting a sign. So, but no, it was me. Yep, and we have, so far, we've replaced the thin, cracked, broken safety floats in the big tree pool with heavily, virtually unbreakable poly safety float at a cost of $44. And as well, a heavier safety rope, which cost us only $18. So that has been fixed and taken care of. At our last meeting, we talked about the problem with speeding in Big Tree and the non-DOT complaint speeding signs. The police will not tour or check out our facilities because we have non-DOT complaint signs. Okay? What that means is the signs are not up to date. Okay, we have to have the signs. Within the next week or so, we'll be replacing these signs. The speeding signs are supposed to be higher up, and they're like the short, because I paint those too. So they're supposed to be like this. Those will be replaced. But Buchanan sign and Flag in Jacksonville. We've shot the internet and other options. They will be out. They had the best deal. We'll be installing the signs on 12-foot galvanized steel U-poles and concrete ourselves. Okay? The last big windstorm we had blew down and broke the dangerous curve sign, the one that goes around the curve. So we are also replacing that one too, in aluminum yellow and black reflective sign, and it'll also be installed by us. Okay?
Did you request them to respond to you on your own, or did they respond via
Did we request that to respond to?
Well, the thing is, I put in a request to the city to look at our situation.
Right.
Thinking that they'd say, well, no, we don't handle that.
No.
They're not gonna do
But it would
our
become.
No, we have to do our own signs.
Yeah, but it would
That's our
become.
responsibility.
But then they would, talk to the police
Right.
about
The total,
contacting you. Did
Yeah.
that
Well,
happen?
yeah, let me finish and then we'll get back to that. The total cost to improve the signage and safety, Big Tree, top quality signs that will last a very long time is around $500. As you know, our Big Tree Pavilion has a large brick grill, and that has unfortunately been unusable for quite a while because the grilling grate is totally rusted out and has huge holes in it. In order to make our barbecue grill usable for the future hot dog, hamburger, and steak grilling and events and personal events with you guys, if you want to rent the place, we ordered a large custom stainless steel grilling grate, just the grate, that will last us many years and will be delivered later next week. We shopped around on the internet and elsewhere and found a great price for the grate in a company from Yulee, Florida, called Great Grates, and custom made, and it is just $252. That's it. So that will be replaced. And what other information you feel appropriate, suggest to finish by talking about April Sign Painting Project and other future projects. Okay. To get on to other things and to close this out, I walked around also with the wagon. I washed all of the numbered signs. I washed the mailboxes, which were about this thick with debris, looked really bad. Cleaned all those up. We cleaned out several areas with some really thick ferns, and I'm trying to attack each area. And Denise thanked me for her area. This the lady that lived by the sidewalk, what's her name? Beaver. Cleaned her area. We found 4 snakes, 2 armadillos, and about 30 rats in this area. The guys were jumping all over the place trying to get out of the way. But anyway, it's yeah, big rats too. Like yeah. So we want to keep all of the ground cover and stuff at a minimum so that we don't have the critters in here because we're getting way too many critters. And the feral cats are having a field day because they're in here eating them. So we're trying, yeah, which is a good thing. That's a good thing. So we're trying to keep that cleaned out, clean away from the buildings. We are going to have a painting party, washing and painting party of the light pole signs April the 2nd. I did one by my house just to see how it would turn out. I washed it, just took them off in a bucket, because they're tall. I got them on a pole, on the ladder, washed the pole, let it dry, went back with sprayed metal paint, the really good stuff, $3.98 a can, sprayed the whole pole. It's amazing, looks wonderful. So on the 2nd, I've got 3 people so far signed up to help me. And anybody else that wants to help, it's very simple. I just need somebody to hold the ladder while somebody's up there washing. We go from one to the other. As we come back around, then we paint. It'll take probably 3 or 4 hours to do it, how many people we have. But it will be a major uplift for the community and what it looks like. So that's it, people. That's all I got. Thank you.
Okay, you've had about 2 minutes here. We had a bonfire event, which was really nice. It was a nice bonfire, hot spiced wine, and s'mores, marshmallows, and whatever. It was a lot of fun. And they're planning a couple other events. So Pat,
We had a great time last weekend. I think we had about 15, 20 people at the little bonfire. It did turn out, it was very nice. We had a good time. We have another event coming up, April 30th, which will be a game night. I understand there's a lot of people that love bingo and some other games, so anybody that'd like to come out and join us, just some fun activities and we'll play some more things in the future too. I'd like to ask if Eric, I know we're out of time, but if Eric could maybe take 2 or 3 minutes and just tell us a little bit about what he could offer, like, will you be able to have the opportunity maybe to come and work with Lisa to kind of walk around with her and see what's going on, kind of get a feel for our community? I mean, can you take 2 or 3 minutes and maybe give us a little bit of a background or something? I think it might help.
Good evening. I first want to thank the board and the membership for this opportunity. My name is Eric. I served 21 years in the United States Navy. I retired on February 1st of 2010. My passion for this profession actually began when I was 26 years old. I bought my very first home, and I served on the board of directors. I served as the president, I served as the vice president 1 year, and I served as a director for 7 years. I do commend you. At times it can be a very thankless job, but you're doing the right thing. And I'm actually very impressed. You had a question, sir, about communications.
Yes,
Communications is one of my strong points.
so that's good.
I will always return phone calls. I will always return emails. I'm pretty efficient when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Okay, good.
That's about it. I just moved up here. I've only been here for about 2 months. I moved up from Palm Beach, and where I had been a property manager for the past 4 years. So I look forward to working there. Thanks.
So Eric, when we send in an email, bigtree@agentlight, whatever it is.com, you're gonna answer those email communications? Is that how it's gonna work?
Is that with a C or a K?
With the city.
Okay.
Just one more thing, Bushers will be out here tomorrow, not to cut trees, he's coming to meet with us. We're gonna walk the grounds. He is going to make notations of exactly what needs to be done in Big Tree. And then as we can afford it, Bushers will come in from the whole day, from 8 a.m. till dark, and work the whole day for one amount, okay? And then we will have trees taken down. My most concern are the ones that are lifting the buildings
The sidewalk.
and the ones that are lifting the electrical boxes that are into the ground, the JPA box. We're having a couple places that are really, really bad, okay? That's my major concern.
and we also want to take down limbs that are, Go ahead.
Are the homeowners gonna be notified if they do have a tree next to their house, when that tree's gonna be?
Oh, yes, ma'am, I will be over there with a note on your door,
Thank you.
24 hours before it happens.
There'll be a
Yes,
yellow
ma'am.
ribbon on
How much
it.
are they charging a day?
3,000 for the day,
My guy charges 2,500.
okay?
So if you take down if you have 10 days working, that's $30,000. So they take down about 3 to 4 trees in a day. So you're gonna save $5,000 if you go with somebody else. Just saying.
Anyway, Bushers has been here for a long time, we'll vote on that. They've been here for a long time, they know our community, and they know the trees, and they know what's got to go and what has, and I trust them immensely.
we'll also be looking at limbs that are overhanging buildings where there's a threat. Bill had a limb fall on his screen porch. We don't want that kind of damage or problems, so they need to be trimmed back on a regular basis. And we'll look at all those needs as well. So,
Thank you.
anyways, thank you very much for coming, I appreciate it. Have a great night.